Nanda is receiving him and how also Gardamani was received. There's a couple of references there to these two situations.
Hi, Krishna, dear devotees. So today we'll be continuing. Oops, this is falling. It's loose. Okay. Today we'll be continuing our study of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 47, Text 54. And we also will be reading the commentaries by the previous acharyas, and also we'll be going back and reading one commentary from the verse before. So we're actually very, very fortunate that during this most sacred month of Kartik, which is a very important time, as we spoke the other night, for remembering Radha and Krishna, that we are reading from the 10th canto, which is all about Krishna and his associates, and brings us into that mood. Here we're going to be studying the mood of separation, which is what we all experience at times, and the solution of hearing about Krishna. So here we are already engaging in the solution when we're hearing and chanting about Krishna. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjabi Hari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivarit Hari Gopi Jana Balabha Girivarit Hari Yasodhanandana Praja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Praja Janaranjana Yamuna Tera Panachari Yamuna Tera Panachari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jaya, Jaya Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Jai Vishnupada Paramahamsa Pavakacharya Asto Saraswati Shri Srimad His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Sridas Thakur ki jai. Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shamakund Radhakund Giri Govardhan ki jai. Shri Vrindavana Dham ki jai. Shri Mathura Dham ki jai. Shri Mayapur Dham ki jai. Shri Navadvip Dham ki jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham ki jai. Jagannatha Swami ki jai. Yamuna Mai ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Shrimati Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the sacred month of Kartik. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. And all glories to the great devotees of the Lord. So we're continuing today. Excuse me. A little difficult to speak. With Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-54. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Ubasa Katichin Masan Gopinam Vinudam Suchaha Krishna Leela Katam Gayan Ramayam Asa Gokulam Ubasakata Chinmasan Gopinam Vinudam Suchaha Krishna Lila Katam Gayam Ramayam asya Gokulam. Uvasakata Chinmasan. Gopinam Vinudan Suchaha. Krishna Lila Katam Gayan. Ramayam Asagokulam. Uvasakata Chinmasan. Gopinam Vinudan Suchaha. Krishna Lila Katam Gayan. Ramayam Asagokulam. Devotees. Uvasakata Chinmasan. Gopinam Vinudan Suchaha. Krishna Lila Katam Gayam. Ramayam Asagokulam. Vinudan Suchaha. Krishna Lila Katam Gaya. Ramayana Sugokulam. Anyone else? Uvasakata Chinmasan. Gopinam Vinudan Suchaha. Krishna Lila Katangayam. Anyone else? So we'll do the word for word. And actually the word for word, it's so beautiful. Uvasa. He resided. Katitit, for some, masan, months, gopinam, of the cowherd girls, vinudam, dispelling, suchaha, the unhappiness. This is the part I really love. Krishna Lila, of the pastimes of Lord Krishna. Katam, the topics. Gayan, singing. Ramayan Asya, he gave joy. Gokulam, to Gokula. Krishna Lila Kataham Gayan. Translation. Oh, little more into the mic. Haribol. Translation. Uddhava remained there for several months, dispelling the gopis' sorrow by chanting the topics of Lord Krishna's pastimes. Thus he brought joy to all the people of Gokula. And the purport by the faithful disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The great Acharya Jiva Goswami comments in this regard that Uddhava, during his stay in Vrindavan, certainly took special care to enliven Krishna's foster parents, Nandi and Yasoda. So, Omagana Timirandasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Chaksu Militanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitanyena Bhutale Swayam Rupaka Damayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Om Gana Timirandasya Gana Gana Shalakaya Chaksu Militanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagapate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Prananami Hari Priye Uvasakata Chinmasan Gopinam Vinudan Suchaha Krishna Lila Katam Gayan Ramayam Ashagokulam. So here we're hearing that Uddhava, he didn't just come, give his message, and then decide, all right, I'm leaving now. He had given the gopis, which we just read about, he gave them a way to mitigate the separation that was so intense that they were burning and could practically not stay in their body. But they had to stay in their body because if they left, Krishna would be so sad. So his message gave them hope. Here it says that he had special care to enliven the foster parents, Nanda and Yasoda. Of course, we understand that Nanda and Yasoda are the real parents, and it is just Krishna's expansion that merged into Brajendrananda and Vrindavan. But here it is explained in this way. So Uddhava, he gave them a particular meditation that they can do to go within and to remember all the beautiful pastimes that they had with Krishna, all the places that they spent together, and to be absorbed in singing these glories. The same way, even when Mother Yasoda had Krishna right there in Nandagam, when he would go to milk the cows, or when he was out with the cows in pasture, she would be singing the different songs, remembering Krishna's pastimes. So this is the mood of Vrindavan, where everyone is constantly singing and remembering those beautiful pastimes of Krishna, and that way feeling closer to him. So with the gopis, he had to give a particular meditation. And here we see with Nanda and Yasoda and the other residents of Vrindavan, he will inquire with them in different ways, make them feel that Krishna is remembering them, enliven them in different ways. But the main way that everyone is enlivened is by remembering Krishna in Vrindavan. So now we're going to continue and with the commentaries. Actually, I was going to go back one commentary by Sanatana Goswami. It was on 10:47:53, which is the verse that Rudrani read yesterday. And there was so many commentaries that she wasn't able to get to this one. After lamenting and falling on the ground, unconscious for a moment, they recovered a little. At that time, tataha, they then worshipped Uddhava, because Krishna attracts everyone. Hearing his messages attracted their hearts. Krishna was beyond knowledge of the material senses and also brought back to life after being under the axle of the cart at Hoksajan. He pervades everywhere, Atmanam. Knowing this, with their internal and external pain arising from separation, dissipated by the message about Krishna, they worshipped Uddhava, the direct form of joy, because of bringing the message and the best of the devotees by praising and respecting him, in order to please him or to please Krishna, or to dissipate their lamentation. So they were in so much lamentation. Then Uddhava comes and he explains that Krishna's everywhere, he's within, he's out, he's at Hoksajan, and that you can connect with him internally. So they connect with him internally, and they have a spurti. But it's not just like they have a vision of Krishna, but they actually are there with Krishna, playing with Krishna, dancing with Krishna, going to all the places that they had these wonderful pastimes. And Uddhava is considered the best of joy because he brought this joy. Or having dissipated their pain, they then accepted Krishna to be everywhere at Hoksajam, and then worshipped Uddhava. So just like we worship the spiritual master, because he's representing Krishna, he's trying to give us Krishna. This is a statement to pacify Parikshit, or understanding that they would see their lover, Atmanam, the son of Nanda, at Hoksajam, now, according to his message, quote, "You are never really separated from me," Srimad Bhagavatam 47:29. Their pain was dissipated, and they worshipped Uddhava. So then we're going to go on to the present commentaries But here we see that the gopis still have not given up hope, that Krishna says that we will see each other again. But as I will speak after the commentaries, it became a long time before Krishna was able to meet with them, because one incident happens after another. So getting back to our verse of today, commentary by Jiva Goswami, 10:47-54. The chief gopi's sorrow was almost completely dispelled by his promise that he would soon return. Srimad Bhagavatam 10:47-36. And by entering the eternal pastimes through the perception of their minds, by thinking that his spiriti was his direct presence. The 3 verses describe this. When they forgot on seeing the external world, Uddhava repeated and instructed them. In this way, their sorrow was dispelled. Vinudam. It is understood that Nanda and Yasoda also received instruction and had their grief dispelled. All the other people of Raj as well perceived Krishna's spiriti as his direct presence. They all sang about Krishna's pastimes in Mathura and Gokula and were satisfied. This means that they became blissful as if were directly present during the spurti of his pastimes. So before going on to the commentary by Sanatana Goswami, I'm going to speak a little bit about what we just read. So we know that the most intense mood of separation is that of the gopis of Vrindavan. And out of all the gopis of Vrindavan, the most intense mood of separation is that of Srimati Radharani. So the instructions that Uddhava gives and the remembrance that he gives to the gopis is also, would be tailored in a different way than then that he's giving to Nanda Baba and Mother Yasoda, the parents who are in a different mood, and to the cowherd boys. So being Uddhava and being Krishna's very dear friend, and so dear to Krishna that he looks like him, being his advisor and minister, of course Krishna knows everything, but he allows Uddhava to take this role of being a minister. And at the same time, he's teaching his minister a good lesson. You think you knew everything, you think that you understood everything, but until you see the love of the residents of Raj. So Uddhava actually becomes very humble and at the same time very soft-hearted, very compassionate. And so he stays with the residents there to keep enlivening them so that when they forget, when again that fire of separation, that burning pain within the heart begins growing, Uddhava reminds the gopis, meditate on those pastimes, those beautiful pastimes. So now it's the time of Braj Mandala Parikram, and all over Vrindavan, the devotees are going out in groups, and they're chanting the holy names, and they're going to all the different places of pastime. They're going to Barshana, they're going to Nandagram, they're going to Raval, they're going to Lolavan, they're going to all these places of pastimes. And in those places of pastimes, they hear about the relationships that Krishna had with the devotees. And then they become absorbed in those pastimes, hearing them from the devotees of the Lord, hearing them with a simple heart, with love and devotion. So the gopis of Vrindavan, they're being reminded, oh, here, this was where we were when we first heard Krishna's flute, when our separation was out of Purvarag, when we first took a glance of Krishna, here's where we were. What was it like to first see Krishna? What was it like to see his glance? So they're remembering that glance of Krishna. Then they're remembering being a Keshigat and performing the different austerities to get Krishna as their husband. Then they're remembering the Sharat Purnima and dancing with Krishna. And they're remembering how Krishna disappeared, but then he came back. So that also gives them hope. He disappeared then. He'll come back now. And they're remembering so many, many different pastimes. And there are so many pastimes that will still come to be in those holy places. Because we should never forget there's a Prakrita Leela which is taking place in Apricot. So Krishna's Leela is constantly going on in Vrindavan today. If you go to Vrindavan and you don't try to see with your eyes, but you hear with your ears from one who's seeing it, you can enter into it. You could experience it. So here, Uddhava, he's helping the gopis to remember that. But not just helping the gopis to remember that. He's helping us. Because we're here in this very dark material world. And we're living at a time which is very dark. And so much strife. So someone might think you don't have time to think about Radha Krishna pastimes. Get your head out of the sand. This war is going on. Do something activist, Yes, activists, go out on the Sankirtan. Chant the holy name, Tell people about Krishna. Do Hari Nam. Sing the glories of the Lord. That's what Uddhava is instructing, actually. So, Uddhava is so kind that he's helping to dispel their grief. And not only is he dispelling their grief, but he himself is getting the most excellent education. So much so that he wants to reside always in Vrindavan. So I'm going to read the next commentary. 1047:54. He stayed in Braj for several months, 10 or 11, in order to dispel the gopi's sorrow. This was his main purpose in staying. So his mood wasn't that of enjoyment, which is our mood of service. His mood was, it will give pleasure to Krishna if the gopi's sorrow becomes dissipated. And he was concerned for the gopis. He was concerned for Nanda Baba and Mother Yasoda, whose dear Lalal, because Krishna's always Lalal to them, was gone. He also stayed to sing the pastimes of Krishna and give joy to the people, animals, and birds and trees of Gokula. He gave happiness to elders like Upananda and his wife by telling that Krishna offered respects to friends like Sridham, by telling them of Krishna's offering embraces, and to the trees, birds, and animals by Krishna asking about each's health. This is the meaning, Hari Lila Gata Ganam. Hari Lila Gata Ganam. So, as I said, he gave one message to the gopis because that was a relationship. And then he spoke to the parents. And with the parents, he actually told them what Krishna's doing in Mathura, how he's doing, just like a mother wants to know. How is my child's health? Like if Ishwar, he went traveling with Gurudev, and he was in other parts of the world. Lila Shakti would want to know, what's Ishwara doing? What are his activities? And how is his health? How is he? And so then she would feel really good, real joy upon hearing it. And then if his friends would hear, oh, Ishwar is remembering you, and he remembers all the fun you had together playing in Gurukula, the friends would feel happy. And if someone told me, oh, Ishwar offers respects for you, I think, oh, Ishwar is all the way there and he's remembering me. So this is just in the mundanes, my mundane life, but of course, service is not mundane, it's transcendental. So what to speak of for Krishna when he's remembering the devotees? They feel that remembrance in their heart. If Krishna is remembering the devotees, or they hear that Krishna is remembering them, they feel so much joy. And not only did Uddhava want to give the pastimes of Krishna to the people, but also the animals and the birds of trees in Gokula. Because the animals were always seeing Krishna. They were always serving Krishna. They had a personal relationship with Krishna. I mean, the cows, he was personally taking the cows out to graze. He was personally calling each of them by their name like a mantra. He was personally, taking the milk, just like we were speaking the other night about Damodar Leela. So after Mother Yasoda ties Krishna up, and he becomes upset with Mother Yasoda when Nanda Baba frees him, then he goes with his father, and he goes to where the cows are being milked. He's just a little boy, and Nanda Baba's feeding him the foamy milk, warm milk, straight from the cow's udder, and giving him sugar. So they're remembering these pastimes, how Krishna came to the cowshed and took my milk. The cows remembering Krishna took my milk, directly from me. And Nanda Baba's remembering, oh, I remember when Krishna would bring me my shoes. And Mother Yasoda is still thinking, is he all right? Is everyone taking care of him? I'm sure they don't know how to feed him properly there. There's probably not enough ghee and sugar and curd in the city like we have here. So there's different moods amongst the different rasas. And the friends is a very different experience, because as it's explained in other parts of the Srimad Bhagavatam, when the friends went out to play in Vrindavan, they would have a spurti of Krishna, and they always believed that Krishna was there with them. Where the other residents, they didn't trust the spurtis. They felt that I'm imagining this. We'll continue. Or he made them happy in order to sing about Krishna. So he himself was very happy to be able to sing about Krishna. So not only did singing about Krishna bring joy to the residents of Vrindavan, both birds and animals and trees and parents and gopas and gopis, and it also brought joy to Uddhava himself. With their being happy, his singing would be useless unless they would not hear it. This shows his skill as an advisor and being a representative of the Vishnu dynasty. So it's a skill to be an advisor. It's actually a great skill to have empathy and understand the suffering of others. This is actually a very important point, an important point in our own Krishna consciousness movement and in the association of the devotees, that we should have empathy for the devotees and not what's called spiritual bypassing, just going over the head. But we should be concerned that the devotees are happy. And if one is an advisor or a representative of Srila Prabhupada, of Krishna, they should have that skill and understanding how to bring not material happiness, but spiritual joy to the heart of all. So Uddhava, he was an advisor and representative of the Vishnu dynasty. And all of those, we are also advisors. And we're also in the position of being representatives of Srila Prabhupada. So it will also show how important we treat each other, how important we treat the Dham itself, how important we even treat, the animals of the Dham like Tilak and all the living entities with kindness. Or he especially destroyed Rudan, the gopis' lamentation, by showing Krishna. He was joyful by showing manifestations of Krishna everywhere. So he had this ability to help them to see that Krishna was everywhere. Not only was he located in one place, but he was everywhere. You could contact Krishna and you can bring him within your heart by your meditation, by your remembrance. So the gopis are thinking, Krishna's given this message before. Will he really come back? Will he come back? He said he'll come back. So why didn't Krishna go back to Mathura right away? And why didn't the gopis just pick up and go go to Mathura themselves. I mean, it's not so far. When devotees go on parikram, they go from Vrindavan to Mathura to Krishna's appearance in the cell, and they visit all the different places of Mathura. They go to where Kubja was and Akrura was. And so why didn't they do it? Because their relationship was with Krishna and Vrindavan. And they couldn't, it was like it would be like going onto another planet for them. It was a very different mood. Krishna doesn't wear a peacock feather there. He doesn't roam in the forest with his friends. He's a prince. And Krishna, he wanted to go to Vrindavan, but he was so concerned since Kamsa had already been sending all these different demons. Like we know that originally, Nanda Baba had to pick up and move because everything was being attacked. Demons were coming one after another. We hear about Krishna's childhood pastimes. There was a cart demon that came to begin with, and Putana came. So one demon after another. So they had to move. And that's when Krishna moved to Nandagan, and also that Vrishabhanu and Kirtida, they took Shrimati Radharani from Raval, and they also moved to Barshana. So Raval is the actual appearance place of Shrimati Radharani. Many people think Barshana, but she was moved to Barshana. And Barshana is where all those beautiful childhood pastimes take place of Shrimati Radharani. So just by remembering those, it brings so much joy. What to speak of the joy that the gopis felt hearing Krishna. So for this reason, Krishna, he couldn't go to Vrindavan because he was concerned for the danger of the residents. Jarasandha began attacking Vrindavan time and time again. Mathura. Excuse me. Yep, sorry, I said Vrindavan. So Jarasandha kept coming to Mathura, and he kept attacking time and time again. So that's why Krishna couldn't go to Vrindavan for that reason. And then the attacks became so dangerous, and all the other kings, and it was just becoming very dangerous. Krishna was concerned for all the residents. Then one day they woke up, and they were in a city in the middle of an ocean, and that was Dwarka. So they got moved from Mathura to Dwarka. And then they were no longer so close by. When they were in Mathura, it was easier to get news of what was taking place. And we know that Nanda Baba and the different cowherd boys, different residents, they had actually been there in Mathura when Krishna had slain Kamsa. So it wasn't something that they didn't normally do. They used to go there to bring their taxes. But now there would be no possibility in the future of seeing Krishna. So this went on for many, many years, and we'll see that the separation will increase more and more and more. This is like the beginning of the separation with Uddhava. It will increase more and more. And then finally, there'll be the eclipse going to take place at Kurukshetra. And during that time, everybody's going to go. And Krishna goes, and with all his family and children, and the cowherd boys get in their bullock carts. And they also go with all their family and friends. And the gopis go, the cowherd boys. Some of the cowherd boys have to stay back to take care of the cows. So they all go, and we know from the pastime of the Rath Yatra, that they meet, and Srimati Radharani is trying to bring Krishna back to Vrindavan. Because it's only in Vrindavan where Krishna's playing his flute, where Krishna's dancing under the full moon night on the Sharat, where Krishna's joking with his friends, and where the Yamuna is flowing, and Govardhan offers so many places of pastimes. So they're wanting to bring him back. But it's said that actually they're not able to. So at that point, everyone is so heartbroken that instead of going directly back, instead of going directly back, they go to Lolavan and they camp out there. They're camping. And this is the place that you can visit on Parikram and Vrindavan, Lolavan. So they go to Lolavan, and then they know that Krishna will be passing by to go back to Mathura. Then one day they see the chariot coming, and they see the flag of Garuda, and it's Krishna. And they hear the conch shell. And it's Krishna, and he comes, and it explained then that at that point, Krishna actually Prakat, and he unites with the gopis again and the residents of Vrindavan. And then it's only expansion of Krishna that goes back to Dwarka, the time with the residents there, and for the rest of the time. But actually, Brajanandana Krishna, at that time, they are all united together. So this is just kind of a brief overview. So this separation is very instructive for us, being followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the lesson that we can learn is how important it is to hear the holy name of the Lord, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. To hear his beautiful pastimes, to hear his loving relationships with the devotees, and to sing them to others. Just like Uddhava, he is enlivening them by singing them. So we also should become expert at reciting the pastimes of the Lord in a way that is understandable for the people where we are at this time and place, so that they can also be attracted to Sri Krishna. Because all the pain that we feel in our heart, it's all really forgetfulness of Krishna. It's all separation from Krishna. So I want to end on this positive note. There's a few minutes for questions. Just that here we see that Uddhava is very kind. He's Krishna's representative. The spiritual master is representative of Krishna. He's very kind. He's coming to enliven the devotees, to help them to remember Krishna, and by remembering Krishna, they also will be absorbed and feel Krishna's presence, and that it is also for our benefit to help others to remember Krishna. So does anyone have any comment, anything they'd like to share? Rajani? Krishna is a supreme lover, she said. Supreme intelligence. And always caring for the benefit of every living entity. Exactly. So to summarize quickly before greeting that, Rudrani was saying that how Krishna is so intelligent and so loving that it appears that he just sent Uddhava there to console everyone, but actually he would send Uddhava there also so that Uddhava would get to experience this much higher level of prema, that he would get to advance in his own devotional life by having the association of the exalted residents of Vrindavan. So he was doing two things at once. He was mitigating the separation of the gopis, and he was elevating Uddhava to a higher platform. So how expert Krishna is that he reciprocates with everyone in such a loving and personal way. And it's happening every second, and it's happening to us also, although we don't always see it. And now it's time to greet Shri Shri Radha Golokananda, the presiding deities. Thank you very much. Please forgive me for any discrepancies. I know.
Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Akom Vikamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Kriya Priti Manti Vasyan Vipan Vikayanti Jiram Naganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami
Oh, the cartoons. Namameshvaram Satchit Anandarupam Lasat Kundalango Kule Brajamanam. Jashoda Bialukaladabamanam Param Rishtabhatyanta Todrutya Gopya. Uy, alguien que pueda tocar esto, papá quiso. Rodantam muhurnetram yugmam rejantam Karambojajukmena sankakanetram. Muhushvasakam patrirekanka Stita graivandamodaram bhaktivadam. Muhushvasakam patrirekanka Stita graivandamodaram bhaktivadam. Ite driksvalila bjerananda kunde Svagoshani majanta makyapajanta. Ite driksvalila bjerananda Tadijashita kashu bhaktarjitatvam Puna prematastam shata vrittivambe. Tadijashita kashu bhaktarjitatvam Varam deva moksham na moksham vadimva Nashanjam vrineham vareshadapiha. Varam deva Hidam teva purnata gopalavala Sada me manasya virastanki manjay. Hidam teva purnata gopalavala Hidante mukham bhajam adyanta nilair Vritam kuntalai snigdha raktaisha gopya. Mukhushuvitam bimba raktadaram me Manasya Yastamalam Lakshalabhai. Namo Deva Damodarananta Vishnu Prasida Prabodhuka Jalabdi Magnam. Kripa drishti vrishyati dinambatanu Grihane shamama jame dyakshidrishya. Kuveradmaja bhada muchaiva jatvat Vajamoshita bhakti vajau kritausha. Tata prema bhaktin svakame prajacha Namo Kshimaho mesti damodareha. Namaste stu damne shuratiti damne Vadiyodarayata vishvasya damne. Namaste stu damne shuratiti Namo Radhika Jai Vadiya Priyaya Namo Nanta Lilaya Devaya Tubhya. Namam Ishvaram Satchidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalango Kule Vrajamana. Jashoda Viyaluka Ladavamana Param Rishtam Atyanta Todrutya Gopya. Jashoda Viyaluka Ladavamana Param Rishta Patyanta Todrutya Gopya. Jaya Radha Goloka Nanda Radha Goloka Nanda Shri Radha Radhe. Jaya Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Shri Radhe. Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan, Jaya Giri Govardhan. Haribol, 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 Nittai Gaura Haribol. To the Supreme Controller, who possesses an eternal form of blissful knowledge, whose glistening earrings swing to and fro, who manifested himself in Gokula, who stole the bodies that the gopis kept hanging from the rafters of their storerooms, had then quickly jumped up and ran in retreat in four, but was ultimately caught. To that Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, I offer my humble obeisances. Upon seeing his mother's whipping stick, he cried and rubbed his eyes again and again with his two lotus hands. His eyes were fearful and his breathing quick. And as Mother Yashoda bound his belly with robes, he shivered in fright and his pearl necklace shook. To this Supreme Lord Sri Damodar, who is bound by his devotee's love, I offer my humble obeisances. To the Supreme of Lord Krishna's babyhood, drowning the inhabitants of Gokula in pools of ecstasy. To the devotees who are attracted only to his majestic aspect of Narayan Vaikuntha, the Lord herein reveals, I am conquered and overwhelmed by pure love and devotion. To the Supreme Lord Damodar, my obeisances hundreds and hundreds of times. O Lord, although you are able to give all kinds of benedictions, I do not pray to you for liberation, nor eternal life in Vaikuntha, nor any other boon. My only prayer is that your childhood pastime may constantly appear in my mind. O Lord, I do not even want to know your feature of Paramatma. I simply wish that your childhood pastimes may ever be enacted in my heart. O Lord, the cheeks of your blackish lotus face, which is encircled by a glowing hair, have become reddened like bimber fruit due to Mother Yashoda's kisses. What more can I describe than this? Millions of opulences are no use to me, but may this vision constantly remain in my mind. O unlimited Vishnu, O Master, O Lord, be pleased upon me. I am drowning in an ocean of sorrow, and I'm almost like a dead man. Please shower